Kent Spitfires lost for the first time in this season's Royal London One Day Cup as they went down by 7 wickets in Canterbury to Middlesex Panthers with 37 balls remaining, a defeat that still didn't dent Kent's hopes of playing at home in next week's quarter-finals. Owen Morgan called right at the toss and decided to field first on a dry pitch, one previously used for a couple of T20 contests, and his bowlers did an excellent job in what was a dead rubber for the visitors after Sam Northeast and Daniel Bell-Drummond had opened up for their side with a stand of 30 in the first 6 overs. Middlesex had given Gurjit Sandhu a first game of the summer and he struck in his 4th over, Northeast angling a ball to Darvin Milan to go for 18. In the 12th over, Harry Podmore then bowled Ben Harmison for 8 as the home side made a sluggish start to their innings, the total reading 49 for 2 after 12 overs. Bell-Drummond had lived something of a charmed life. He'd already been dropped at slip off Sandhu and was given another life by John Simpson off Ravi Patel. He looked as if he would make the most of those let-offs as he used the pull shot to good effect to make it to a 50 off 63 balls with 5 fours, helping to bring up the 100 in the 21st over as the run rate began to be picked up, Podmore going for 3 fours in a single over at one stage. But when Simpson caught and stumped the batsman on 51 to give the impressive Patel a wicket, Kent's innings began to stumble as the slow bowlers took over. 109 for 3 in over number 23 became 113 for 4 in Patel's next one. Darren Stevens another to find Simpson's handiwork behind the stumps, too hot to handle. 35 runs came off the next 9 overs and then Fabian Cowdrey top-edged a shot off Milan to Joe Denley after making a promising yet boundaryless 44. The spinners were doing the business for Middlesex and Denley, against his former county, got one to spin sharply past Alex Blake to disturb his stumps. Simpson could do little wrong behind the stumps and some quick thinking and some 10-pin bowling skills saw him run out Callum Haggett for 7. Only 2 runs came off the next 5 overs as Kent hit a brick wall before losing James Treadwell for a 10-ball duck as he gave Simpson yet more work to do off Toby Rowland-Jones. From 109 for 2 and then 148 for 4, the home side had slipped to 168 for 9 when Denley had Mitch Claydon held in the deep for another duck. Sam Billings has had a terrific tournament, but he now had to produce something out of the ordinary to give his side a competitive total. He and Doug Bollinger, in his final game for the county, did manage to add 23 quick runs for the last wicket, but on 20, Billings was stumped off Milan and Kent had to settle for a score of 191, 7 overs of their innings unused. Middlesex had won only 2 of their 7 games up to now, but they must have fancied causing an upset, especially when Milan and Chris Rogers began their reply brightly off Bollinger and Claydon. They wanted to get as many runs as they could before the spinners were introduced on a surface which was certainly helping them. 41 runs of the target had been knocked off in 6 overs when Rogers was undone by the pitch to help a ball which stopped on him to Harmison. Rogers was on his way for 23 and then Paul Stirling had a couple of moments of fortune as Kent's attack refused to accept their batsman's frailties. Twice the Irishman just managed to evade the slip fielder and he and Milan were soon batting their side to victory. Stirling played plenty of his shots, showing the maker's name, obviously the best thing to do when the ball is turning and stopping. He did the majority of the scoring in a second wicket partnership, which added 65 runs in 15 overs, leaving just 86 more to get off 29. Stirling had made 40 when he had a rush of blood, tried to hit Treadwell into France, and was stumped with a total on 106 for 2. This was Denley's first game in this competition this year, and he would have loved to have seen his side home against his former employers. He hit Cowdrey for a 6, the first of the match. But then the bowler exacted his revenge as Denley was trapped in front for 14. Only 58 were left to get for the best part of 20 overs, and with Milan having just passed a 50 off 79 balls, he was able to add to just his 1-4 in that. Morgan, meanwhile, was in a hurry to get the job done, and he made the most of a couple of overs from the part-time spinner Bell-Drummond. He pulled him for 1-6, and soon added another of Stevens, who didn't have his best night in what has been a superb season for the 38-year-old. Morgan made 31 of 38 balls, leaving it to Milan to finish the job off in the 44th over with this boundary off Claydon. Milan was by far the best batsman of this game, ending on an unbeaten 76 made off 123 deliveries, with only 3 fours included. So it was an easy win in the end for the Panthers as they took the game by 7 wickets with bags of time to spare. For them though, the Royal London campaign is over, while the Spitfires are still on the road to Lords. Finishing second in the group, they are guaranteed a home quarter-final next week, and we'll find out who they'll be playing after Thursday's games in Group A are completed.